Woo.
Woo, there we are. And hello, everybody. It is Saturday, June 25th, 2022, and the swamp creatures are here. And man, is there a lot to talk about just in regards to all the shit that's been happening this week. Tonight, we're joined by Chris from the Libertarian 2A Society. Chris, you want to introduce yourself real quickly here?
Yeah, so we're a Second Amendment group. We're working to grow within the Libertarian Party. We basically are just defending your rights all the time. That's all I've got so far.
Good shit. And we'll keep going throughout the night. But before we continue, we have a little tradition here on the show where we go around and kind of tell everyone what we're drinking. But it's just me and Josh here tonight. So, Josh, what you drinking?
Well, I brought the captain back out. We're going to try and finish him off tonight. We got a little bit left in the tank. So we'll see where we get as this night goes on. Mitch, what are you drinking tonight? Since it's just us two.
It's a repeat from last week. I am drinking, I'm having the drink of Mr. Roy Rogers with the Russian vodka. So, keeping it Russian. And, since we're also talking gun-related things, I figure embrace the Eastern European roots.
Yes.
That was horrible. But anyways, just kind of kicking it off here. Might as well just cut straight to everything, the main stuff. Supreme Court ruling on concealed carry. Is this a good thing, bad thing, kind of good, but not as good as, some would think? What do you guys think? Chris?
It's definitely a good thing. It's it's a small step to where we need to be, considering basically now used to like New York where you could apply for your concealed carry and it would end up practically like in a paper shredder, if you will. It would just take so long that it wouldn't matter anyway. And there's a lot of cases where people have applied for it in situations, but now they have to honor and recognize those. So basically, now you can still apply for it, and you might actually get it now. Eventually, I'd like to see a day where we don't have government for our rights. Like, we already have them. Let's stop asking them for them. Let's stop paying them for them.
Yeah, I think it's optimistic, but at the same time, with the way New York's track record has been, I'm kind of sitting here like, okay, how are they going to find a way to gut this? And just ignore it.
It'll be something like, yeah, you can still carry now. You can get your license. Just if you can still carry ammo. Or it'll be something stupid like that. You watch and see.
No bullets in the magazines.
Yeah. Just carry them in your pocket.
It'll probably be just a situation where it'll be more of like administrative delays in getting them. Because that's the only thing you can really do in those situations is just drag out the process and make it so painstaking, bureaucratically long that people just hate the concept of having to go through it to get it. Because that's the biggest concern for a lot of people is how much time is this going to take me to deal with? And if you're just waiting forever, because they can, like I said, it can just be, we have so, they can just claim backlog. We have so many requests that we're waiting to get to yours. We'll get to yours soon, and we promise. We're working very diligently. We're overwhelmed by the amount of requests. Like, can't you see how this just easily plays out into your application going from in the paper shredder, shall we say, to just stuck in the inbox forever?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll say this, it's kind of a mixed bag with this whole situation here, because on the one hand, this really only affects like 13 states nationwide and a couple like other small places. On the flip side, though, those 13 states have a huge like swath of the U.S. population living in them. Like, you just got to think of like places like New York and New Jersey, like those two states alone probably make up like 20%, 15% of the whole United States population right there in just two states. So you got to think that just gave an immense amount of people a new liberty that they haven't had, some of them in their lifetime, if not years past before any of us probably remember.
Now, then, one thing that I've been hearing a lot from people, or at least just from a few folks who, have somewhat legal experience, is that this ruling will now be used in the future as a precedent going forward when arguing any sort of case that relates to, that could go back to this.
Well, I mean, they're not wrong. You're always going to try and tie a case that supports your legal opinion into what you're doing in a trial so that you can, leverage it either with the jury or the judge, whoever's, presiding over the case or, deliberating, shall we say. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. This is going to be used as precedent. Any legal ruling is going to be used as some type of precedent for other cases or other laws or whatever it may be. Like, just look at the repeal of, I hate to get off topic here, but look at the repeal of Roe v. Wade. We already had states that had trigger laws in effect ready to go because they anticipated this coming. So, yeah, it's obvious if you know that there's about to be a precedent set or there already has been, why wouldn't you leverage that to your advantage, especially in the legal realm?
That's right.
Yeah, it's a good way of summing it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic about this, but once again, it's if there's any optimism, it's from what you were saying in regards to just helping out people who live in states where it's more restrictive. I mean, Josh, you as a New Jersey refugee, I know you know just how hard it is to get anything in Jersey.
Yeah, like just to give you like an idea, like New Jersey was a May issue state. So you could go through all the training, all the courses, like as much as you want, put in the application and it was almost like common knowledge, like the worst kept secret in New Jersey, that unless you were like a cop or a federal agent or you were like some kind of like law enforcement type of person, you weren't getting a concealed carry. Sorry. Like average 9 to 5 Joe Schmo citizens, fuck you. You're not getting shit from, as far as the concealed carry was concerned. So a lot of people, that was where you saw a lot of people breaking gun laws in New Jersey and New York when I lived there, was because it was just common everyday folks who were just like, okay, well, I'm not going to get a concealed carry license because they're going to just fuck me over or tell me I don't qualify because I don't meet the standard that they set forth for my rights to, be issued back to me via license. So, it's a huge win for those guys because now, like I said, Joe Schmo citizen can go and apply now. And essentially this has turned it into a shall issue state. There's no bar to clear. Did you pay the fee? Did you take the training course? Is your application all meet out? Did you clear your background check? Fuck you. Now you get a license. In a lot of states, that's what the fear is for some of these guys, is we just turned a few blue states into Florida, essentially, with their carry laws.
Yeah. Do you think we could maybe explain the language like between may issue, shall issue, constitution for some of the viewers, guys?
Well, as far as I understand, and I'm no expert in this, shall issue, is they that is will issue, correct? Goddamn. We're even drinking before the show, so Josh, help me out here. Bail me out.
Okay, so shall issue essentially means that the state shall issue, that there's no real bar. It's just you have to meet a certain minimum requirements to get it, which, standard across the board in most states for a shall issue is you take a training course of some sort, you pay the licensing fee, you fill out the application, and you commit to a background check. And then once that's all processed, you get your license. Now, in may issue states, they can put on prerequisites for you guys to be issued that license. So it's not only all of those like 4 or 5 things I just talked about there for the shall issue states, but now it has to be certain things like, in New Jersey, like it was like you have to be some type of Leo or law enforcement agent or correctional officer. You have to work in a high risk, career occupation, So, I couldn't say what that is exactly off the top of my head there, but you can take that for what it's worth there. Regardless of that, most may issue states were like that. And they set with all kinds of little extras and fine print on when they may issue. And that's why a lot of people's, like, Chris said here, just ended up in the shredder because they were like, oh, we don't have to issue this. Fuck you. Now, constitutional carry, now this is what Chris has over here in his, the great state of Kentucky. They don't, you just put it in your waistband and go about your day. That's your business. There's nothing they can do about it. They don't care. Your business is your business. And you know what? It's a very polite society for a reason in Kentucky. People are friendly there because you know why? You never know who might be packing. Like, let's just be really honest. Like, it's the joke here in Florida. Like, I work in a business where we could potentially find, people who mishandled or lost their firearm in the course of their day. And that's something we say, like, hey, this is Florida. A lot of people carry firearms here. A lot of people, are carry, and most of them are legal. So people tend to lose stuff. But states like Kentucky, that's great. They don't have to ask for their right to do something. Somewhere like Florida, we have to ask for our right, but it's just kind of handed to us. It's kind of like being spoiled a little bit, but there's still a parent involved. Like, Kentucky is kind of like, hey, you can just have it and you don't got to go through anybody. You just go up in the cabinet and you get the cookies out the jar. Here in Florida, we got to ask mom and dad to get the cookies, but they're going to give it to us every time. No problem. We're spoiled little fuckers here in Florida. Now, New York, New Jersey, just to give you the example, you're going to ask for the cookies. And unless you're the favorite child and you've been real good and done all your chores, fuck you, you ain't getting no cookie. And if you do, you're getting one cookie and one cookie only. And they're going to lick the icing off of it first.
Yeah.
God damn.
They couldn't be explained any better.
Freaking New Jersey is like the abusive parents in this whole situation.
See, you got to humanize these things with people when you're explaining it to them. Because, like, when you explain it like that, people are like, oh, okay, I get it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how you just reach the common folk because, most people aren't like, aren't having this conversation about like the concealed carry or Roe v. Wade or any of the shit that, we kind of got that happened this week. The other big thing was, I'm sure you guys saw today that Biden signed the gun control bill.
Yeah.
So
Good
looks
luck.
like they got that. Like, does the SCOTUS ruling really mean shit now with that, or we expect like challenges on the state level? Like,
oh, absolutely, you're going to expect challenges on the state level. There's going to be a ton of states who are going to push back. Like, honestly speaking, like I don't know, like maybe you can speak for Kentucky a little, Chris, but I feel like in Florida, DeSantis is going to push back and try and repeal Florida's red flag laws. Or at least make the illusion he's going to try and do that and push back against these federal red flags. So states are going to do stuff just to make some noise. It's election season. We're coming in the midterms. People need to make it look like they're doing something important for their constituency and their voter block because, hey, I need votes coming up. November is going to be right around the corner before we all know it, boys and girls.
I think Andy isn't going to do anything really about it. His mindset is you can hear crickets chirping comes to this. But I agree. There's going to be a lot of states that's going to challenge this, maybe even actually federally, as we've seen with the recent activity in the Supreme Court. Remind you that just because a bill is signed into law doesn't mean that the Supreme Court won't deem it constitutional or not. So we're waiting on that as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this stuff is just going to be used to really, as you pointing out, just fuel the flames of going into the midterms for a lot of these politicians. And as far as challenging it goes, what do you guys think about nullifying federal law? What's your take on that? Because I've heard some mixed opinions from the legal community. Like I'm for it, but I guess the whole legal precedent in it all, technically it wouldn't win, but I don't know. It would be good to have a not lawyer right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, in those situations, it really comes down to it becomes a question of how hard does the federal government want to enforce that law? If the state goes to nullify it and the feds send in their agents to, effectively, enforce that law, then there's, have you really nullified it? It's kind of the question of, okay, well, if Florida and their law enforcement ignore law, but then the FBI agents and, Border Patrol come in and they enforce the law for them, did they really nullify it? No, they just passed the buck and told the feds, hey, this is your law, now let's see you enforce it. And the feds went, all right, I guess we'll enforce it. And, I personally speaking, I would prefer the deal with state agents over federal agents, but, if I have to deal with any, but that's just the reality, at the local level too. You can nullify and ignore what the state is, trying to do, like abortion states or 2A states. You can have like a Chicago, or a blue city in a 2A state that's like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to have all these red flag laws. And if the state comes in and goes, no, you're fucking not, we're going to fucking just squash everything and pardon all of the fucking people you prosecute. And, we're going to remove your DA from his fucking or her position. What did you really nullify it, or did you just get the state to enforce its own law for themselves in your area? That's it.
Well,
so, I think there's the argument. Sorry.
What you're saying about on like the local level too, with everything going on, I kind of had that thought. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Second Amendment sanctuary cities.
Yes.
Do you think the left is bright enough to figure out that model with abortion, or are they just? You think they're gonna figure out that pretty quickly?
Oh, I expect it. Once again here in Florida, I expect Miami to be an abortion sanctuary, Broward County. I think like the Tri-County area down in Southeast Florida, that's going to turn into abortion sanctuary. It's heavy blue. Orlando, maybe like small like parts of Jacksonville, Tampa, like the Tampa metro area. All of those blue areas of Florida are all going to turn into abortion sanctuaries because they think that Florida is going to really get, coming hot and heavy, even though there's nothing in the pipeline right now, legislatively speaking, for abortion regulation here in the state of Florida.
Yeah, and he's right. You can have a red state and have major cities, and like I like to tell people, land doesn't vote, and we've seen that time and time again. So yeah, there's power in those local communities because they can determine whether or not they want to enforce that or they don't want to enforce that. It basically, it's up to whatever they want to do it. But yeah, you guaranteed to see abortion sanctuaries. You're going to see. Well, we've already seen Second Amendment sanctuaries, sanctuary cities. But yeah, you're going to see it. It's coming.
Oh yeah, and I mean at the same time, you've also seen moratoriums against stuff put up. Like when we had marijuana legalized medically here in the state of Florida back in 2016, I remember right away towns like just local municipalities, places like I think it was like Tamarack and Miramar, and just little like towns and cities around Broward County they were putting moratoriums for creating any kind of dispensaries in there. Because they were just like, hey, we live in a blue area, but and this is something that voters voted on, but we're going to put a moratorium on this because we don't want this in our backyard. And because the state chose not to heavily enforce who was allowing it, they just said, hey, it's a right now, you guys can have it, and just left the counties alone. they still don't have dispensaries in those towns, even though like the areas around them all like heavily like populated with dispensaries and whatnot at this time.
That's really bizarre because like it seems like I remember there were a lot of places like Lakeland, for example, was pushing back against that when that first happened. But you go to Lakeland now and there's dispensaries.
Well, that also makes sense with Lakeland. I mean, it's kind of like Lake Worth down here. Like, it was the same deal. They pushed back against it because probably like Lakeland, it was a recovery area where it was heavily in their like drug rehabilitation business. And they figured that dispensaries were going to throw their, their cash cows off. Oh, that too.
I mean, there's a lot of things well, another thing with Lakeland too is farming.
Well,
like, there's a lot of there's farms out there.
Well, that makes sense. Got to grow it somewhere.
Yeah, only in Florida. At least that's how the laws are here. But yeah, no, with it seems kind of like a mixed bag on the Second Amendment end of things. As far as the bill goes, have you guys had a chance to look over any of it at all?
No,
I'm not gonna lie, no.
Yeah, supposedly it's the one thing that I found kind of worrying was the whole enhanced background checks aspect of things, where it's like, how advanced are we talking? What are you gonna do? Go look at my Facebook? Like,
Oh yeah, now yeah, they're looking at your school records.
Mm-hmm. They're probably doing social media screens. They're looking for trigger words, They're digging in the databases that they never dug into before. Like, all kinds of dumb shit. Like, they're probably going to find pictures of your butthole that you took in middle school.
Okay, here's the dick pic you sent to that one chick back in college.
Uh-huh, exactly. They're going to see it. Like, they're going to go straight through the NSA to do all your background checks now.
Yeah.
Here's that time you were jerking off and you didn't realize we were watching you through your webcam.
Yeah. Yep, you're now classified as a domestic terrorist.
Mm-hmm. Jerking the gherkin, domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, but it's crazy with that. I don't know if you know like how the British and Scottish, gun laws work and all that, but they'll basically turn you away for anything to get a gun, including like, oh, you got drunk in public when you were in high school. So that's why, like, I saw that shit and I'm just like, that's concerning.
It is.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's a chance for them to pick winners and losers. Hey, we like you. You're the right type of person. You get a gun. Hey, we don't like you. We hate what you stand for. You're the wrong type of person. Fuck you, go away.
That's right.
All I can think of is there's this political cartoon by an ANCOM out there where it shows, but if we regulate guns, only Christian conservatives will have guns. Like, who are the only people who are going to go through the fucking processes and who's going to get denied the most? Like, we've already seen, like, it's going to be the poor people.
Oh, yeah. You got a criminal background, misdemeanor. You got drug offenses. You got into a fight at a bar when you were 12. Like, doesn't matter now. Like, anything is going to be used against you. You got into a fight in your high school years, used against you. They're going to up, and watch it. You're going to see them try and up the gun age across the board to 25 within the next 10 years. I promise you.
Yeah, they're basically putting the thumb on the scales. What they're doing.
See how much shit they can get away with before, like, SCOTUS or someone says, knock it the fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, too, you have a whole generation who's, like, hyper fixated and concerned with things like mental health, and a lot of them have decided to take it upon themselves to give themselves a advanced degree in psychology and like deep mental psychosis, where they're sitting there and they're diagnosing everybody as like crazy and, having all these mental issues. So essentially, what they're doing is they're setting up the condition where everybody has some kind of mental illness or mental setback, so nobody should own a gun.
That is a line that you just drew there that all I can think is, fuck, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
be under the guise of mental health. I mean, it's not like deal with things like we just got out of COVID. Now we got crushing inflation. Like, yeah, people can deal with things. That doesn't mean they can't defend themselves. That's not fair. That's not fair at all.
Well, I mean, shit. Yeah. You can get a gun if you're an alcoholic, but if you smoke weed and you're a patient, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And that might be, another thing that they start testing for. Like we said, this is a control mechanism. Who do they not want to have firearms in general the most? Poor people, minorities, people in, low income or, repressed areas. These are all people who are prone to have to use these firearms because they're in these areas where there is a high risk of, assault or violent crime to happen to them. So it's in their favor because now you once again condition this population that you need the police, you need the EMS services, you need these security measures. This is why we need more tax money out of you, because we need to fund more police in your area. Look at how dangerous it is now. Look at all these criminals with guns parading around your gun-free neighborhood right now. They want to make sure that only the upper crust people, like I said, the people that they like, the right kind of people, have firearms. And why? Because they want to make sure that they can keep milking the cash cow and that their people are well defended in case we decide we're not happy with getting sucked up anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point, too, talking about poverty and minorities. I mean, when you look at, like, on a historical aspect, gun control is racist at its core. I mean, you look at the Mulford Act. I don't know if you know what that is. I'm not sure. I assume you do. Back when Ronald Reagan was still governor of California, when the Black Panther organization was protesting with firearms around Capitol buildings and stuff. And they really had no intent of using them, but it was very quick how they made legislation push through to make that illegal. Yeah, at the very core, it is racist, and it does oppress neighborhoods that are poverty-stricken and have multiple minorities. All this does is, it puts power into the Fed and then into the state, so to speak, so that way they can continue to press down with their thumb on you. That's what that really boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and part of me feels like some of this is incrementalism, where they're not going for the outright ban because they realize what that will do, but they're chipping away more and more. Like Josh, as you said, like 10 years from now, that's when you'll see, or even sooner, who the hell knows, they'll push for raising the age of owning a firearm to 25. But, if you want to join the military and go kill people, you can still do that at 16.
Well, and that's the other reason I brought that up is that, with all of this, hyperfixation into mental health, a lot of people are realizing that, medically speaking, most people mentally mature at 25, which that's all super well and good and whatnot, but, it's kind of a wild concept, kind of like you brought up, Mitch, in that case. If they're going to regulate purchasing a firearm at 25, why can we join the military not at 18, Mitch, at 17?
Did I say 18 or did I say 16?
You said
17.
No, you said 18, but it's 17. You can join. I joined the army at 17 years old. You can join the army at 7. You can join the military at 17. You can get your parents to sign a waiver that says that I'm allowing my minor child to sign for themselves for anything that they're, any contract or piece of paperwork from here on out that you put in front of them, and that he is legally able to comprehend what he's signing for and can be liable for all of it. So at 17 years old, about a month after my 17th birthday, I had my mom sign her right as, her maternal right to, or parental rights away, so that I could sign a bunch of contracts to join the Army and go to basic training before I even graduated high school.
God damn, but you can't drink or smoke.
I threw a live hand grenade at 17 years old, but it was illegal for me to drink, to smoke, to own a firearm legally, to buy a firearm legally in any state at that point, not even in just New Jersey where I was living at the time, in any state in the United States. I couldn't rent a car. I don't even think I could buy my own plane ticket at 17 technically. But you let me sign a contract to go out and, perform life-threatening training on a day-to-day basis. Like, how does that make logical, rational sense to any human being in this country?
So I gotta ask then, in regards to throwing a grenade, what's it like throwing a grenade? Like,
okay,
just being a Second Amendment episode, like,
I love when people ask you that.
I feel like it would be.
I rarely get asked, but it's a very interesting question. I actually enjoy talking about it because it's such nothing, no movie you've ever watched, no video game you ever played. It's a very unique sound. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not a booming sound like you hear in like movies or cartoons or video games. It's like a sucking sound, almost.
Huh.
Like, that's the only way to describe it. Like, you toss it and it's like 2, 3, it's like I don't know how to describe it. Like, it was not what I expected. Like, the sound I got was like, I was confused for a second. And like, I just remember the ranks cadre sitting on the top of the berm looking over, and he was just like, all right, you threw like a bitch. Get the fuck out of here. You passed, though.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. I was like, I just need to pass this to graduate basic training. I don't care. But it's like, it was a really unique, because it was a super easy day. Like, you just kind of hung around, you threw a bunch of fake grenades, and you had already been doing this for like 3 days. And then they just line you up at like the late afternoon. You got like 60, 70 dudes huck a grenade for like an hour. You're just sitting there watching people huck grenades. You go back, you sit on your rucksack, and then, all right, cool, load you back on the bus and you go and eat dinner. Like, that was your day. Like, grenade day was actually pretty cool at basic training.
I mean, grenade day does sound pretty cool. Like, that's the type of shit that we don't have, so it's kind of like...
We also got fleeced on our grenade day, though, because you're supposed to do like a whole, like, it's almost like a qualification course for grenades, and you can actually qualify for throwing grenades and like your shooting badges. And they just basically,
they stiffed you.
Yeah, essentially. They stiffed us on a bunch of stuff. Like, you've seen the movies where like they'll shoot the machine gun over you at night while you crawl under the barbed wire. They call that Nick at Night. They stopped doing that during my training cycle because it was considered psychologically damaging the troops. Like, I went through, when I was at basic training, I was the last training cycle at Fort Benning to go through what they called high-speed, high-stress training, which was no stress cards, very in-your-face, high-demand, like, physically intensive training. Like after my cycle, like, I saw like other training units coming in during the summer while I was there. They had stress cards, they got camelbacks, they were getting like extra like rations and MREs and shit if they told the drill sergeant they were still hungry. It was just like, that would kind of is what turned me off to the Army too, in a way, because I just was watching the culture change and it just got real gay after a while.
It got soft.
It got baby booty soft, like newborn baby booty soft.
So
Kinder,
if you were
gentler
China,
Army.
So if you were China, would you invade right now?
No, I wouldn't invade right now because the army does it. Though, like, first off, like the U.S.'s military is spread all over the world, so like that's just a disadvantage to you because we can fuck you up in so many different ways in foreign countries, like by proxy, that'll fuck up your economy. That we don't actually have to invade you. Like we're in so much shit, doing so much shit that we can just, we just fuck up your trade and your economic situation. We don't gotta actually go in there and invade you directly. Now, why would China not invade us outside of that factor? Well, it's the United States. We have a lot of people with a lot of guns, and after you hit the coasts on both ends, you hit mountains. You hit very large, high mountains. And what do those mountains have? Mountain people. And those mountain people are rugged, they are survivalists, they are people who have been homesteading and are very well versed in the old ways. They don't need a lot of the major comforts of modern society. Like, they're the worst possible fucking thing a standing army for any country could run into. It's essentially like death by guerrilla warfare. The trees would just bark at the moon every night.
Yeah.
It would literally be an Afghanistan situation.
And you got to think too. I've also said this. You can't even invade the metro areas and take them over. It would just turn into because you got to think things would just evolve and it would become gangland. And do you really believe these hood rat thugs who will shoot it out with each other over 2 different blocks of space won't kill a fucking Chinese soldier to keep their family safe? You're out your goddamn mind.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everyone turns into a patriot.
Oh yeah. When it comes down between coming home and sleeping sound in your bed at night and not, people will do unreasonable things, even if they're reasonable people.
All right. So real quickly, before we continue here, I gotta ask Tim. Welcome back to the show. What are you drinking?
Captain Morgan, 100 proof. What's up, guys? What's up, fellow porch monkeys? How y'all doing today? It's glorious.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, we're bringing it back. It's a glorious day in the neighborhood. What is okay, Chris, that's your name. Hey, Chris, on my phone, because I was watching while I was taking a shower. Yes, I watch you while I get in the shower. I was watching, and you gotta sit up or something, bro, because I thought you didn't have a neck. I was like, where's that man's neck? But your beard blends into your shirt. No, I'm just teasing, man. No, it's good. What's up? How you doing?
Good, you?
I'm gonna be all right after I have a couple drinks. My dog tried to escape, and she does this routinely, and I have to fight the urge to kill her because apparently that's animal cruelty.
I feel you. I feel that whole statement right there.
Yep. Yeah. Now, you guys are talking about this 2A stuff, so I'm guessing you haven't gotten into any of the abortion stuff, which is cool. What is because I'm trying to understand exactly what the Supreme Court ruling actually means. Did you guys go over that yet?
For abortion or for...
No. I get the Roe v. Wade one. I'm talking about the gun one.
Oh, yeah. Well, basically what we said was that those states that were may issue have essentially now been turned into shall issue states. So there's no more bars that people have to clear, obstructionally to get their license issued to them for concealed carry. So in New Jersey now, it's not just cops and correctional officers that are going to be able to get a concealed carry. Any Joe Schmo off the street who, goes through the process will be able to get one without issue.
Okay, so you're saying it's a shall issue now instead of a may issue, which is the big distinction. Because I'm not clear if that's exactly what's going on. That would make sense to me, but because everything that I'm reading about it, and I'm reading on CNN, so maybe they're just liars. But it seems like it just overturns what's happening in New York, and if other states with similar restrictions want to be challenged, they're gonna have to go through this process. So, this isn't as clear as obviously it's a win, but it's not clear if it's as big a win as that would be. I feel like what I would have liked is if they would have said it's constitutional carry everywhere. You don't need a fucking permit. That would have been great. But It seems like I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's a step in that direction by saying like everything is a shall issue now, because it like they can still put restrictions, right?
No, it's not. There's no more like occupational restrictions or, extra like clauses that you have to have.
But what I'm saying is it's not. Oh shit! Hold on. I had a clip that I was watching that was trying to explain it, but no, because this doesn't affect other states though. It's just New York's restriction.
But it's a precedent,
right?
Yeah.
But they have to go through the challenges, and because like one of the examples that they cite in here as saying like things that aren't affected yet but may be affected in the future. California's ban on magazines holding more than 10 rounds, Maryland's ban on assault weapons, and a challenge to the federal bump stock ban that was put in place by the ATF under Trump. So like those are the examples that they're using to say like these things could be next, but they're not really affected right now. Like the bans on those are just bans on I guess you would say attachments, right?
That's a completely different subject, unfortunately, in those situations. But this type of ruling does, like you said, set a precedent for those to come in there and go, well, if they ruled on that for that, why can't you rule on, this way for this?
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You want a ground to stand on and go, look, they're already deregulating and, these things here, like, you're behind the times, they've ruled this, and we can keep running this up the bill and we can have this happen again, or you can just rule in favor of us and we can stop the nonsense.
Yeah, I'm looking up some more stuff if somebody wants to go.
Trying to find more details just in regards to the ruling.
Yeah, I've got a clip I can play. That's just got it's a minute and a half. We can pause and do all that stuff. It's just Tubin on CNN explaining what this does. I don't know if you want to go over that. We don't have to. I'm saying I can.
We could mock CNN, like.
Yeah, go for it.
Although that kind of feels like just picking on a mentally retarded kid.
I have no soul. Let's go.
I don't discriminate who gets the wrath. Okay. Retards are welcome.
Yep. I'm equal opportunity. Fuck around. Let's find out.
Yeah, let me see. Okay.
Come on, chop.
I had to figure out which one it was. All right, there it is. I got 2 CNN tabs open right now. I know.
Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to kill myself over here. All right, here we go.
Jeffrey Tubin, does this render moot the difficult negotiations we've been covering on the Hill for years to pass simple gun safety regulations like the one quite modest that has just gotten through on Capitol Hill, or is about to get through, we believe?
The one thing it guarantees is that any sort of gun regulation, including what was just agreed to by the senators, will be challenged in court. I mean, there's no question about that.
See, and I agree with that. Like, it's going to be challenged, but I don't think it affects anything yet. I think it just shot down the New York thing. That was my main point with that. If you don't have nothing. 1, 2, go.
This expands the Second Amendment right. What we don't know is if it eliminates the possibility for any sort of gun regulation. I am just working my way through the opinion. It is possible that red flag laws may still be intact after this.
He's not wrong in that instance where he's saying it doesn't mean that there can't be any sort of restriction or anything like that, because Kavanaugh was kind of the one who put on the asterisk that made it so he made it clear that this wasn't a case for constitutional carry or anything like that.
Yeah.
So he's the one who seems to have left the wiggle room for what he's talking about there.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a shall issue, because shall issue states generally, like I've said before, in order to be issued your permit, you have to fill out the form, take a training course that is certified by the state, you have to pay the licensing fee, submit the application, and then pass the background check before you can be issued yours. So that's what they're having to do. There's still restrictions, don't get me wrong. You still have to go through a process, but it's not the same as that, okay, you have to do these 5 things and you must also be in a high-risk occupation or some type of law enforcement or correctional officer.
Or whatever reason they deem fit to deny you regardless.
Yep. You know, and then it's, you know, and have no misdemeanor, you know, no felon or no misdemeanors within the last 5 years or at all, or, you know, your grandmother has to have a last name with ending in Y or was born on a Tuesday. Like, it's all kinds of stupid shit like that they can do.
Yeah,
Now
well,
it's just,
it sounds like now, like what he's talking about is he seems to be worried that all might go away, that they might not be able to restrict, that it might, in effect, become basically constitutional carry. Like it may be shall issue or whatever, but they're going to say you can't put all these other restrictions on it either. I think that's what he's worried about. I just don't know that this ruling has. I don't know. Making it a shall issue is cool, but it's like shall issue on what grounds? Shall issue to anyone who asks for it, or shall issue because once you say like shall not issue to convicted felons, right? That's something that's right now. If they say that, then it's like, okay, well, if you made that exception, then what else can you make an exception for? And then they just expand it out that way. And then maybe the expansion goes so far that no one qualifies.
Well, we saw that in the bill that that Biden just signed as well, which had the part in there that if you had any sort of domestic abuse thing at all, that could prevent you and basically get your guns taken away.
Right.
So remember, fellas, you're just one spiteful ex-girlfriend away from getting red flagged.
One wild dog. Just put a bullet in your dog and they take your gun away. You gotta be careful. Bury it in the burn pile. No one will find it.
Tim, you are really mad about this whole dog thing.
Dude, it's like the whole reason I'm late. All right, here we go.
But any sort of regulation that...
I'm sorry. Were you trying to say something? Yeah.
I mean, you could let the ATF handle your dog situation.
You could have let the what?
The ATF.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'd rather not have the ATF on the property. I'm a self-sufficient individual. I can handle this myself.
But any sort of regulation that tells people what kind of gun you can carry and where you can carry it, as long as you say you're doing it for self-defense, it's very hard for me to imagine how any of those could be upheld anymore.
Great, good, fucking good. I hope that's the outcome of this. I hope that all of those laws get challenged and it essentially becomes shall not be infringed. Like, how hard is it to read those fucking 4 words?
Well, but Tim, a militia.
Yeah. Look, a militia is anybody who's able to fight. Well-regulated just means well-trained and armed.
Dude, like, it's fucking crazy that's even the argument that's being made, because if that's the argument, it's like, okay, cool, well then let's go make a militia.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fair enough.
Go ahead, sorry.
They look quickly at the word militia, but they tend to forget the beginning of the right of the city. They go straight to the militia, and they try to tear that argument apart. But yeah, they forget the fact that in the beginning it's talking about the right of the citizens.
Yeah, I mean, these motherfuckers will tell you, like, like an AK-47 shouldn't be included because we only had fucking muskets back then. You know, I'll skip that argument. There's a whole, actually, Crowder does a pretty good series on this, on like the automatic weaponry that was available at the time of the revolution. But anyway, putting that aside, they'll make that argument and then they'll forget that the militia back in the revolutionary times was anyone that could hold a rifle and shoot straight. Like, it didn't have to be 18 years old or whatever. It could be a fucking 12, 14-year-old kid. As long as he could hold a rifle and shoot redcoats, he was in the militia.
On the topic of old-time weaponry, too, I would just like to point out, I'm pretty sure Gatling guns are still legal in Florida.
Dude, are you serious?
Well,
I'm not even... I'm pretty sure that's the case. I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure Florida was one of the states that came up when I saw that. So
I mean,
Tim's like looking online right now, I am getting a Gatling gun.
But yeah,
take that, New Hampshire. Sorry.
That is a good point. We're talking about like they had muskets back then. But the thing is like when that was written, that was the modern weapons they had at the time. But how can we only limit it to that when we're acting like that the Constitution is a timeless document? So that means that if that's the case, if we still go by the Constitution, that means it's a timeless document. Look how old it is. So that means your modern AKs, ARs. I mean, they're still relevant to that. They're still protected under that.
Where can I buy a battleship?
I want a nuke, tactical nuke.
I think actually one of the founding, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Jefferson because he's the best, but it was one of them that was saying that they made the argument actually that you could own an artillery cannon on your property. Like, so it wasn't even like just reserved to like personal firearms or whatever. It was heavy fucking weaponry, like the best they had. So there were no limits.
That's what I'm saying, man. How can I set up a 50 cal nest on my property?
Oh, sorry. I seen the argument between I think one of the senators in Texas and Biden on his comments about owning cannons. Have you guys seen that?
No. Who was it?
I think a senator from Texas, and it's just a comment that Biden made about you can't own cannons. It's actually pretty good. I wish I could find it. But
the Texas senator was talking about cannons, wants cannons to be official gun for the state. Texas senator. I just found this. Huffanese, whatever his name is.
I don't know, but I always remember the one gun control senator who got busted for selling an RPG.
Wait, what?
You don't know about that one? The California, I don't know if he was a congressman or a senator, but he got in trouble for trafficking arms and like selling an RPG. But he was also like, fuck if I know. But he was also like one of those people pushing for gun control, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, rules for thee, but not me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rules of the day. Here we go.
Justice Scalia, to keep his 5 justice majority back in 2008, included language about sensitive places where government could still regulate guns. And there was a lot of tension during oral arguments about that. If suddenly Justice Thomas is saying, not just schools, but maybe, subways, other places that now could be, up for grabs in different ways. So once we see the rationale, we're going to know how far it can really go.
It's remarkable, right? Because it also raises another issue we should speak about later, which is that differences among states. Do blue states pass more restrictive laws? But can they now under this, even if state legislatures decide that that's where they want to go?
Okay, I'm glad it ended there because I actually want to ask that question to the group. So everybody knows this is the Flexit channel, right? We all want Flexit. Fuck y'all. But
Kentucky, good luck with your secession.
I think Kentucky will do all right, man. Some fucking mountains, boy. Yeah, exactly. You can't bring a tank up a mountain. Fuck off.
I wasn't trying to talk shit. I was just telling them good luck. I was just trying to be not goddamn, Tim.
I don't know.
Tim coming with violence tonight.
Yeah, right? Jesus Christ. Tim's coming out for blood.
I am. I got blood on my brain.
All y'all.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Well, no, but my question is okay, so like he brought that up. So abortion, this is a transition. Everybody is getting all up in arms about it. See all these puns and stuff, and I'm not even trying to do it. I just keep hearing it. Everybody's all up in arms about the abortion stuff, but it just really just kicks it down to the states. I guess with the Constitution, they can't do that with the guns, right? So they if this Supreme Court ruling goes the way we want it to, yes, Shannon. I want to call you Sharon. I wish I could change your name and just make it Sharon. But no, I can't even remember what I was going to say now.
Something about kicking it down to the state level.
Yeah. So if these Democratic states wanted to ban guns, I'm kind of like of the mind like, okay, like if you're going to say that and you're going to say fuck the Supreme Court and fuck the Constitution, like I don't give a shit. Like, cool, let's separate now.
I mean, Tim, we gotta encourage our local Democrats to move to California.
You're goddamn right we do.
You gotta remind them that Gavin Newsom, their governor over there, he defeated a white nationalist in a recall election.
There you go.
Like, come on, man. Like,
No,
he's so much better than that racist DeSantis. Or I'm trying to think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just trying to think who else could be like, oh my God, Florida has Trump. Do you really want to be in the same state as him?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, bro. We don't want you here.
Give them reasons.
I don't know. Everybody seems to be, the left. Every time I post something about secession, there's always a left winger that's like, yeah, get the hell out of Florida. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be bad. I'm like, yeah, you should leave. That's good. Do it.
Yep.
Makes me happy.
Bye.
Tim, shut up. Smots calls me Sharon. Don't be a dick like him. Though, that's the thing is, we're talking to Sharon here. Only Smots calls her Sharon. Look, Smots is a trendsetter and I'm a follower, and I'm going to say that, your name is Sharon now.
You have the power to follow the trends.
Yeah.
You aren't the power. He is.
Hey, before we get off of 2A stuff, I don't know anything about Libertarian 2A Society. What is that? Did you guys ask that already?
Kinda in the beginning, but basically,
Is this another caucus? Is this another fucking caucus?
No. Smaller
Okay, that answers one of my questions.
No. It's just a smaller organization within the actual party. When I say small, it's like a one-man crew.
So it's you.
Yeah.
You're it. Okay.
Just trying to. Our goals personally is to really do two things: repeal the NFA and abolish the ATF. If we can accomplish those two things, I can rest peacefully.
What's the 2FA, two-factor authentication? Is that what you said?
No. Repealing the NFA and abolishing.
Oh, NFA. What is the NFA? Somebody enlighten me.
It's the National Firearms Act.
Yes.
Is that what does that do?
It basically restricts a lot of very fun stuff.
Is that the one that bans automatic weapons?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fuck that shit.
I should out behind my yard and casually shoot a minigun.
That's one of those things, like, I feel like, I don't know, you almost should start a caucus, because it should be like, it's like there's like the pro-life caucus, there should be like the 2A caucus. Is there one?
That was kind of one of my criticisms I had that I wanted your opinion on, but because you said you're not a caucus, then I don't really know how this would apply anymore. But like, I looked into kind of creating a marijuana caucus a while ago because, you know, the liberals in Canada, they have the pot party, which is kind of like a caucus within their party. The problem was
what's going on here?
Josh is like, why aren't you doing this?
Everybody, put your hands up.
Formed. Like, I feel left out right now. We want to form a marijuana. You're telling me about forming a marijuana caucus? You're not gonna talk to your boy over here? What the fuck is this shit?
It was before I knew you, I swear. But no,
what were you, young and needed the money, fucker? You sucked that dick, didn't you? I see you now, Mitch, sucking that dick for a dollar bill. You were young and needed the money. It was all before you met me. I see how it is. Is that what you tell all the girls? Mm-hmm. That was before I met you, baby. Don't worry about that. This is fucked up now.
Get back on track. I got shit to add. Pull it together, Mitch. You broke him. You broke him.
Anyway, I didn't create the marijuana caucus just because that literally would encompass like 98% of the party.
But that's the point, dude.
Duh.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, go ahead.
Great, though. The further it has potential to divide the party, and you know we're trying to fight for access to put candidates up to vote in different states and stuff right now. And the last thing we need to be is divided right now.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say is I don't understand. Like, for me, you should create it because I can't see anyone that would be against it. But at the same time, I think the Libertarian platform is pretty solid on 2A, right? They're like no restriction, especially now, no restrictions on guns or anything. So it's not even really like you need a caucus to change the party's position. You just need like a group of people that can push gun sanctuaries or something to that effect, or constitutional carry in every state, or something like that. Like you said, like repealing the NFA and what was the other one?
Abolish the
yeah. Like a focus group that was working towards that goal. That's really all you need. So it kind of makes sense now that I think about it out loud. It makes sense that it's not a caucus, but a caucus that does need to start. No fucking bullshit. The Fight Club caucus. Where the fuck are we at?
I'll fuck you up, Mitch.
You want to see who the best fighter in the caucus is?
I was really hoping he was going to say my name because I think that would be a great headliner match, me versus Josh. First Fight Club.
We got to go through our like preliminary rounds to get to each other.
Do you want to go?
You can't give him the title fight right off the.
You want to do like this tournament long-term booking thing?
Or like
you got to give him the King of the Ring before you give him the title fight.
What'd you say, Chris? Because whenever everyone else talks, we can't hear you. Yeah.
It's just like Joe Biden versus a mirror in hell.
Oh yeah. There you go.
What'd you say about me, Corn Pop?
Yeah. I think it'd be fucking great, man. I think we could do it too. I've
had that idea before where it's like, can we like do a tournament just to determine like who the best like fighter in the caucus, or like not even in the party?
Yeah, that's what I mean though. It'd be a great thing for the party because, like, all right, look at somebody like Hudak, right? That guy, he's kind of fit. He wears tank tops all the time. He's got his big arms. I don't know. He could probably hit pretty hard.
You know what I'd be really surprised about? Like, we get out there, Sarwark takes off the suit, and he's just got, like, all sorts of gang tattoos, and he's fucking ripped.
He's losing, dude. You saw what he did to that fucking twig. He couldn't even take it with a hatchet, man. No way, man. I'm not there.
Josh is saying
I would love that fight, though. That would be such an interesting fight, because he's a little bit older than me, but, like, and he's got some weight on me, but I think I can take him.
Who's Sarwark?
Oh, yeah, I think he's soft enough I could take him.
Doesn't Oregon have mutual combat laws?
They do.
It's one of those states. Who?
It's Oregon or it's Washington. Which one is Seattle in?
Washington.
I think it's Washington for some reason.
Shit, dude.
We got a national convention in Seattle, 2026. Whoop that ass convention. The whoop that ass convention.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like it kind of sucks. It sucks for us because we got to go. Look, we need to start a new focus group, mutual combat group.
Just to know the theme of that convention will be "Layeth the Smack It Down."
Yeah, mama.
There can only be one.
People are gonna smell what I'm cooking by the time we get done at that shit.
In the words of Ice Cube, I got an ass whooping that you don't want to inherit. Okay, like let's go.
Mm-hmm. We gonna fuck around and find out in Seattle.
That's right.
Call Antifa. They gonna need to come out to stop us.
Hey, invite them too. Invite them too, man. Come on, let's go.
They can get that ass beat as well. I'll give a shit. I'm an equal opportunity ass whooper. Come around, find out.
The meatcocks are already being labeled as fascists and racists and white supremacists and all this kind of stuff, and they seem to think that they should stop fascism by any means necessary. So, challenge right now: meatcocks' best fighters versus Antifa's best fighters in Seattle. Let's fucking go.
Let's go. I'll fuck all of y'all up, bitches.
All right, fuck you, Sharon. You're Sharon for life now with this fucking bullshit over here. You're gonna bet it. What's that? What?
She knows I don't fight fair.
Oh my god, it was so funny. It's like
I'm mean.
Yeah. It's this article I saw on Babylon Bee, man. Over. It said like it was talking about Father's Day, and it said every father that got a #1 dad cup, they all had to meet somewhere, and they had to have a death match over it. There can only be one.
Yes. Hell yeah, I'm for it.
Shit, wasn't it a few years they had that whole battle of the Joshes?
They did, and it got gay real quick.
There was no fight, was there?
No, there was, but it was like whack as shit, and they ended up picking like an 8-year-old kid as the winner because they're fucking
Oh yeah,
whack.
I remember that.
Boo!
Yeah, like slug
Fucking
it out,
Braun
be some
Strowman
real ass
shit.
men. Like,
Dude,
I
if
would've
my name was
drop-kicked that little 8-year-old
there,
from
you
my
go.
spot on the top. Fuck that! I don't want to be a loser. That's whack. How you gonna be that big of a bitch to let an 8-year-old beat all y'all asses? You're grown ass men. You just gave up the title. What kind of champion are you? You're not the real Josh. Sit down.
That's like there's this video out there of like some little kid from a Make-A-Wish Foundation running down the football field after getting the ball passed to him.
Yep.
Out
That's
of
exact
nowhere.
same thing. Same energy. I'm gonna truck that little motherfucker. I don't give a fuck you got cancer or not. You can die too. Fuck them. You're terminal anyway. It's not like you're coming back. Deal with it.
I'm just imagining you like at that, because I remember the Josh thing when the 8-year-old won. They had him like on someone's shoulders. I'm just like imagining you going up and just like shoving that kid off the shoulders.
Oh, probably, but I'm already seeing Tim getting uncomfortable, which means we're taking this way further than we probably should.
I have no idea what you said. When you said like they can die too, I obviously thought of cops. And there was another CNN article that I had pulled up that was like law enforcement officials say Supreme Court ruling will make their jobs harder.
Good. Fuck you too. Boo-hoo. Get a
After
new job
Uvalde, yeah, no sympathy for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You chose that life, bro. Sorry, I can't feel bad for you. You should have read your contract before you signed it.
Right.
Which fuck, that was another thing that happened this week. More of the security footage coming out from Uvalde.
Oh, is there updates?
Well, there was the one that showed them like right outside the door of the one room.
Mind you, showed this footage after it's been hidden for like days, weeks. You know, after the chance
like a
to
month.
make themselves look good. I want you guys to know that.
They basically tried to steer the conversation towards gun control. That way they didn't have to talk about their incompetence of their police department.
Yeah. Like, let's just like Spike Cohen said. He said, if you want to make a school safe, like all you got to do is like during a school shooting, call 911 and tell them that there's like a bag of weed in the bathroom. Like,
there you go.
come down, like they'll rain an ungodly firestorm upon that place. But nope, this is just school shooting. We'll just stand out here and just let them die and hold you guys back.
I'm trying to find
set up a perimeter, basically.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, I would be more shocked if I hadn't had, you know, lived through the after effects of Stoneman Douglas, because I was working working with the general public in the Coral Springs area of Florida after this happened. So I dealt with a lot of the families from Parkland who came in, like families, kids who were at, you know, in the school when it happened. So, I mean, it was a very unique perspective, arguing with parents whose kids just went through the worst mass shooting in the nation's history and being like, no, I don't think we need to restrict guns. No, I don't think that's a problem. No, the FBI is your real enemy, not the gun laws here. They were just never enforced. Like, I was like, the FBI didn't stop, you know, take this kid off when he was obviously like making legitimate threats. And then you got dudes like this. And that's what I was saying. You should be mad at BSO as well at the time, because they just set up a perimeter around Stoneman Douglas and they let him shoot it out for 45 minutes. And oh, look, it's standard procedure. You set up a perimeter, you let the kids shoot it out for like 45 minutes an hour, then you go in and pretend to do something.
All right, so this is, I guess this is the new, it says first surveillance image from inside Robb Elementary Uvalde during school shooting. Dude, this guy, oh, you can't see my mouse. This fucking shield, like, really? It's like, I don't know if y'all played Rainbow Six Siege, but that's like what that is. Like,
I was just thinking that, like Rainbow Six, like with some kind of Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, this guy's got all this fucking equipment. Come on,
This
man.
morning, the first surveillance image from inside Robb Elementary emerges, obtained by ABC affiliate KView in Austin. The photo
just an
showing
image?
multiple police officers standing inside the building
there
with
was more
rifles
for
and
this.
at least one ballistic shield 19 minutes after the gunman entered at 11:52 a.m. This, despite school police chief Pete Arredondo's original claim that the officers weren't properly armed.
Well, the
to
one dude
take
had
down
an
the
AR,
gunman at that
so-
point.
Yeah.
Officers didn't enter the classroom and kill the shooter until 58 minutes later.
Jesus.
Police have yet to comment on that surveillance image. Now, 4 weeks after
Like
the
a
massacre,
pattern.
which killed 19 students and 2 teachers, more discrepancies emerging. Despite officers claiming they were waiting for a key to unlock the classroom door, surveillance video shows they never even tried.
Wah, 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 wah. Pause it there. Pause it right there if you haven't already.
Bro.
They waited for a key to unlock the door. What a bunch of horse shit.
So, you know how the French take pride in the guillotine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
America, we need to embrace our tradition of tar and feathers.
Yeah,
Uh,
I ain't gonna argue that one.
look, guys. I'm just thinking. I think I might move to Uvalde because if all it's gonna take is a fucking locked door to prevent the cops from infringing on my property, I think I could spare the $50 for a decent lock.
Tim, you
Yeah,
could probably bully the whole police department and get whatever you want. You'd own
What
that
if
town.
I
Yeah, but you
wait till
just
they
have to
all
pull
show?
the
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, you can do that, but you got to pull the Anakin Skywalker to make that one work.
Nah, 3D, 4D, 5D chess move. Ready? I wait for
Uh-huh.
them to show up for their shift, and I lock their door to this precinct. Problem solved.
Got it. Smart.
That is some
Smart.
major 4D chess.
Okay. Well played. Touche, Mr. Crosby. Touche.
I don't know. What
and
else do
to
they got
open
here?
it. And the question remaining, how long did they know children were inside alive calling 911?
Apparently for 58 fucking minutes.
Is there anybody inside of the building? Tyler is advising he is in the room full of victims at this moment. 8 to 9 children.
At 12:03 p.m., 12:10, 12:13, and 12:16, 911 calls. They continue until 12:47 p.m. But it's not until 12:50 that officers finally go in. Now, as Texas lawmakers prepare for another round of hearings, embattled Chief Arredondo expected to speak to at least one committee investigating, but legislators won't say when. Arredondo has defended his actions in interviews, saying
Come on, man. Like,
Come on, man.
Hold on.
officers didn't hesitate to save lives, but
Where was
had
it
to
at?
adjust to what they
trying
faced.
to go back
But
to the-
family members fed up.
this.
Interviews
Oh,
saying
no.
officers has defended his
Sorry.
actions.
That fucking thing. This fucking truck
Is that
here.
APC?
Oh, dang.
Some kind of truck.
I'm just like thinking, like, the guy driving that, like, before that day, like, a week before this, when he was driving that shit around town, this motherfucker sitting up in that truck, like, yeah, let a motherfucker find that fuck around. He's gonna find out real quick. Look at this big ass truck we got. And then this, like, fucking kids die for an hour fucking straight, and you sit outside and don't do shit. You could have knocked the fucking door down with this goddamn truck.
You could have drove through the wall and crushed that kid with that
Yes.
thing.
Easily. Like, fuck, man. Just seeing that shit, it pisses me off, man. Pisses
in
me off.
interviews saying officers didn't hesitate to save lives, but had to adjust to what they
Excuse me? Lie.
saying
people-
officers didn't
Yo,
Yeah, go ahead. What? Yeah, go ahead.
cowards will always fucking find a philosophy to excuse their bullshit.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find an
I'm not-
excuse. They have to just make it out of thin air.
win. Arredondo has defended his actions in interviews, saying officers didn't hesitate to save lives, but had to adjust to what they faced. But family members fed up.
Having Pete still employed, knowing he is incapable of decision-making that saves lives is terrifying.
Overnight, the loved ones of those lost in the Uvalde massacre demanding answers.
How are we supposed to continue our lives here?
Begging for action at a school board meeting.
I'll tell you how you're supposed to continue your life there. If that's where you want to be and that's where you want to live, you buy a fucking gun. And then hopefully never. But the next time that a fucking school shooter shows up and the cop stands in your fucking way, Fed alert. I'm not gonna, I can't say the next part. Yeah.
And, that's just like, schools are gun-free zones, and here's something to consider. Like, if I'm a school shooter, or I'm wanting to shoot a bunch of people, I'm going to look at a school like a fox would look at a hen house, or like a locust would look at a field.
Homeschool your kids.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it's like the whole school shooting thing is. I feel like people want to try and find one simple thing just to point the finger and be like, that's it. But it's like, it's such a combination of compulsory schooling, horrible bullying, the feeling as a kid that you can't escape because if you try to, you will get in trouble or your parents will with the law. Teachers who don't give a fuck, overprescribing kids on everything, school guidance counselors who don't give a fuck. I mean, like it's at its core, it's basically a spiritual crisis.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than just the guns or even just like prescription meds, which, I think that's a contributing factor, but it's not like the only thing.
You're welcome, Sharon. No problem.
Do us the favor and do what you know is right.
So many unanswered questions for families like the Rubios who lost their daughter Lexi.
Think about how long she was there. She was scared. She was in pain. It just worries me. We have to know. And we might not like the answer, but we have to know.
What do you want to know?
There are competing meetings being held here in Austin, Texas today, one in the House and one in the Texas Senate. The difference is the Senate hearing will be open to the public. And for the first time in nearly 4 weeks, we will hear from the DPS director.
Yo, that's coming up. That was the 21st. That was 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I got autoplay on. Sorry. Let me close this out. I don't know, man.
Well,
why did we go into Uvalde? Oh, because they had new footage. Well, I didn't see any footage. I saw the image, but
yeah, for some reason I thought there was more than just that, but I could be wrong.
When you got the chief of police standing up in front of the podium saying that, hey, our cops had to wait because we were ill-equipped to handle the situation, and then you see the cops were more than equipped to handle the situation. It creates a very contradictory situation now that these guys have to deal with, not only politically but professionally. Your job as law enforcement is to enforce the law. What that kid was doing was breaking the law. Now, they chose to wait 58 minutes while he continued to break the law and allow a body count of victims to pile up. And there's parents that want to know, how long did my child lay in a hallway or a classroom bleeding out, suffering and dying because your police officers were too cowardly to go in and you were too cowardly to demand of them to do the job that they signed on to do? Well, mind you, I also want to mention here, this is a contradiction on what I'm saying, because the police have no obligation to protect you. They don't have any obligation to save your life. This has already been ruled on by the Supreme Court. The cops do not have a right to defend you. They do not have an expectation to defend you, to save your life, or to protect you in a life-threatening situation. So just understand that.
You don't know what's going on here. Shannon has said that if I'm going to call her Sharon, she's calling me Jim. I accept your challenge.
You just called her Shannon.
Well, Sharon, whatever, man. Look, audit check. How many drinks have you had? Because I keep pouring.
Audit check.
Yeah.
I'm on number 2.
I'm on number 3.
Chris, are you drinking with us?
No, I don't have anything at the moment.
Stop being poor.
You know, funny you bring that up because this kind of ties into the conversation. But I brought up the other week about how, like, if you're really concerned with, like, what's going on in the public school system right now, whether it be, like, school violence or bullying or, you know, the educational, like, curriculum in general, like, you should just take your kids out of school. Like Tim said, homeschool your fucking kids. And somebody claimed that to me was the equivalent of, like, liberals looking at us and going, well, just buy an electric car, you poors. And, like, yeah, and that's kind of what I looked at, is like, there's a ton of resources and, like, stuff out there. Like, it's not like, because I guess this person misconstrued me saying, take your kid out of public schools but put them in private schools. And I'm like, no, you can homeschool your kid actually pretty cheaply without having, in a lot of cases, to sacrifice your career or your job.
Yeah. If you send your kids to Rome and they come back, you can't expect them not to act like Romans. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You send your kids to Rome, don't expect them to come back as Romans. Like you said, that's what they know. You know, you're sending your kids to these places where they're going to be indoctrinated and fed leftist doctrine and, you know, be taken on field trips without permission slips to, you know, gay bars for drag shows to stuff dollar bills in the undies of Daddy's Little Moneymaker. Like, that's on you, bud. You've consented to that.
That was some weird ass fucking shit.
It was.
What are you talking about?
You haven't seen that video?
What video?
Of the kids stuffing, handing dollar bills to the drag queens as they're going
around.
Yeah. Like we've had this on the show. I know we've talked about
what does that have to do with the school stuff? Because that wasn't a school event.
Yeah, that was. They took a school field trip there.
What?
Welcome to today, Timothy. Hi, how you doing, bud? It's Saturday night. Welcome to the Swamp Creatures podcast.
Yeah, it's fucking 2022, apparently. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that was a school trip, bud. They went on a school-sanctioned event to a gay bar with a big-ass neon sign that says, "It ain't gonna lick itself."
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't know that was a school event. I thought that was
a
parents.
school event, Bubba.
Yeah. I didn't know that either, Tim, so you're not the only one here.
Yeah, welcome. That's what I'm talking about. Like, these people worried about the wrong shit. Like, why are you worried about your kid going to, like, a gay drag bar? Like, do you send your kid to a public school that's going to send them to a gay drag bar? Oh, that's terrible that you have to do that because you're fucking an idiot and don't understand that you're not going to reform the school system. Like, you know how you reform the school system? You take your kid the fuck out.
That's right.
And you teach them, you educate them your goddamn selves. And you don't have to send them to private school or religious schools. Like, I wouldn't do that to my kid either. I would send them to charter schools down here. Like, if you're going to send them to a school, I'd be looking at micro schools, like little, like 10 kid units, you know, something local in your area, run by somebody who, you know, and you interact. What?
You're talking about like pod learning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Micro schooling, pod learning, whatever you want
to call it.
My kids
ain't getting in no fucking pod.
Get in the pod and eat the damn bugs, Tim.
They ain't fucking doing it.
I mean, my kid eats the bugs without hesitation, but he's 4, so that's kind of what 4-year-olds do.
Well, the World Economic Forum would be very proud of your parenting skills.
Yes.
I will stuff that child in the pod and he will be happy with what he has.
Dude, you couldn't control your kid if you tried. That
kid's
a wild man.
Wild child. Any of y'all who've seen my kid in real life knows there's no, like, this kid is ungovernable. He don't listen to a goddamn thing anybody says. He just does what he wants.
I don't know if I should be proud of him or disappointed in you.
I go with proud of him. I usually lean on the more of I'm proud of him unless I'm getting frustrated and want to chuck him out the window going down 55 some days.
dude, because I go through that with my daughter. Like, she does not fucking listen. And then I think about it, and I just think about Jordan
That's your
Peterson's
kid.
fucking Kermit in my fucking head. And he's like, "You're not taking care of your child. He doesn't respect you. You need to do better. You're a bad parent." Like, I don't know. Like, that's the feeling I get. Is like, my daughter's not listening to me.
You were the evil stepmother in Cinderella's story back in the old Disney cartoon.
No, the kid's fucking cool. He's got a lot of energy. He just doesn't
slay the dragon.
Listen.
My kid don't listen at all. Yeah, a lot of energy, real cool. But this kid does not give a fuck about anybody.
Okay, so here's what happened. We had the party at my house. We were talking about like shooting guns and stuff. Clean your daughter's room. That's a good comment. No, we had the party at my house, right? And so like Josh showed up. Josh was the first person to show up. Him and Dump Truck and the wife. They showed up, and shortly after, a couple other people showed up, and we started shooting guns. We're like, oh yeah, let's have fun. I come out of the house, and Josh's kid is standing right there by the stairs. I think it was either Josh or Brian. It was somebody was over at the gun booth and was shooting. And as soon as the shot started going off, Josh's kid's like, it fucking takes off running towards the gunfire. Like, that kid, he's not afraid of nothing, man. He's running towards the gunfire.
He wanted to see what was going on. He wanted to do some pew pew too.
Yeah, dude, he was fucking all about it. My daughter was not. She was like, guns went off, and she went like this. Josh's kid, guns went off, his eyes lit up, and he fucking ran towards him.
That's my boy.
That's just part of being a kid too. Like, fuck. Like, that reminds me of like the one Bulgarian guy that I used to know. Like, when he would talk about like growing up and like when they were like a Soviet bloc. Like, the one day the fucking Soviet soldiers came to class. All right, kids, do you want to learn about stuff today? Or do you want to go shoot rifles?
Shoot rifles.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I'm going to learn a lot.
Well, fuck yeah. You're probably going to learn more than whatever you were going to learn in that school anyway.
I was just disappointed I couldn't get my kid to want to come over and actually shoot one of them. My wife was not happy I was getting that put in his head.
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to go shooting, bud. We're going to go shoot. She's like, no, you're fucking not. I was like, why not? I'll stand there right with him. I'll hold his hand. He'll be fine. He's a grown-ass boy, babe. He's got to learn someday how to...
I had a couple parents ask me that day. They were like, can my kid shoot a gun? And I was like, why are you asking me? You're the parent.
Right?
Yeah. I wonder about that, though. Like when is like the... All right, you're the chair of the Libertarian 2A Society. When is the right time to teach your kid about firearms and allow them to shoot?
Well, personally, I would say whenever you seem fit. I mean, because you're the parent. Like, they live with you. They're under your supervision, direction, however you want to put it. But, you know, I would say a good time would be around 6, 8, 10. Take them out, you know, let them go shoot squirrel, whatever. You know, just teach them. Teach them while they're young. That way, when they get old, they'll know. You know, because like if you take your son out to hunt, let's just say you go deer hunt, for example, and he shoots a deer, doe, but whatever. He's going to see that, and he's going to see that thing that was moving through the woods is no longer alive anymore. Those decisions that you make have permanent consequences. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's responsibility as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Does it mean something that I didn't care the first time I killed a squirrel or a rabbit? Like, I did it, and I was like, okay, we're done. Like everybody says, like, the first time they killed something, like, maybe because it wasn't a human. I don't know.
Gosh. No, I mean, I
don't know. Am I a psychopath? That's the question for the group. Here we go.
I don't know. Kill someone and find out.
Yeah. Come back when you kill a human being. We'll talk, bud.
I'll kill this dog later, and we'll talk about that. We'll see.
If you kill the dog, I'll pass it. I'll hit you with the pass stamp.
Yeah, the pass is a psychopath.
Yep, you're certified psychopath.
Yeah.
You killed your own dog, psychopath.
Yeah, certified American psycho, bro.
Yeah, I agree with that. In the moment, I'm like, fuck this fucking dog. But like, watch, tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be like, hi Sadie, how you doing? Love you, piece of shit.
Yeah. We got his Turner in the background there.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
That's
I don't know
mine.
whose that is. It's Josh's. Yeah.
It's always mine.
No,
it's always my dog's.
Dude, that dog sounds like it's all of 20 pounds.
Because it is like all of like 12 pounds.
I got fucking a Great Pyrenees over there that's over 100. Fucking stomp on your little dog.
That's fine. I have a big dog to compensate for my little dog.
I'll get the Rottweiler in here. Well, you want to fucking
out.
go? I got German Shepherd. We'll get him in here too.
That's fine. They can die too.
Yeah.
My pit's a real one.
Oh man. So real quickly, as we're kind of nearing the end, coming up here too, Chris, I just have a few gun-related questions that I prepared. Just you being the Libertarian 2A Society guy. So first off, training and tactical gear. Is it cringe LARPing or is it good?
It's good. Just from a personal opinion, if it ain't practical, it ain't tactical. So tactical gear and training, yeah, it's definitely worth it because there may come a time when you may need it. I'm not going to say that the Fed is going to come marching in your front yard, to pull you out of your street or, weld your door shut like they did in China, over COVID. But you never know. So, yeah, I think that training and investing in tactical gear, investing in something that guarantees your safety and your family's safety, I mean, that's always a good thing. Always. I actually have plate carriers. I have all that stuff. So.
Alrighty. So another one here then, and this is very straightforward. Okay. AR or AK?
Big Kalashnikov fan right here.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, they bring up the argument like we should ban AR-15s, and I'm like, yeah, we kind of should. Let me remind you of the Viet Cong, the Taliban. I mean,
yeah. So okay. I don't know much about this, so I want to understand more. What is it like? What is better about the AK that you can't fucking break it? Because I've heard that a bunch of times. But like, what is so bad about the AR? I guess is the real question.
You're shooting a spicier version of a 22. But at the same time, I mean, it is practical in a way, but then again, you look at like where they've used it, and like, for instance, the Colt M4. Okay, so they've used the Colt M4 in Afghanistan. They've used the M16 in Vietnam, and both the times, we had professionals. They were soldiers. And both times we were ran out of there licking our wounds with some old ass rusty AKs, full auto AKs. I mean, when Mikhail, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. Mikhail, it's Russian.
Kalashnikov?
Yeah.
Gorbachev? Kalashnikov?
Yeah. When it was invented, it really was a revolution. It was a revolutionary piece. It really was. Because 7.62 by 39, the original, definitely, it'll reach out there and touch them. So, I mean, yeah, that's why I've always been a Kalashnikov fan, is because, I mean, I've had an AR, and, like, I don't mind them. I mean, they still will get the job done. They still defend your family. They will still defend against tyranny. But just the sheer nature of a Kalashnikov, like you can just like throw it in mud, pick it up, and then charge the handle and keep going. I mean, they're brutal, they're rugged, I mean, they're made for that.
Why were you shaking your head, Josh? Do you have a dissenting opinion?
I do have a dissenting opinion.
Okay, let's go.
So the Kalashnikov versus like AR,
the
like,
AR,
argument,
yeah.
It comes down to like a couple different things. Like Chris isn't wrong. It does shoot a spiced up like 2.23 round essentially, but like I'm looking at it from the perspective of is that a couple different things. Is that one, Chris is absolutely right. The AK has more stopping power with the 7.62 by I think it's a 4.5 or a 5.6 millimeter NATO round. Mm-hmm. But the 5.56 by 4.5 millimeter NATO is a tumbling round. So what that means is that your Kalashnikov, your AK, has stopping power. That thing's going to go in and out, and you're going to drop and be dead. Now, a 5.56 round is going to go in, and it's going to tumble around, and it's going to tear up your insides, and you're going to be alive, but you're going to be suffering. And that is a force multiplier, because now it either requires you to sit there and suffer and psychologically damage your friendlies, because now they have to watch one of their teammates suffer and understand that if I get shot, this is going to be my fate. Or they're going to be forced to drag this motherfucker off the battlefield, which is now taking 3 people off, or at least 2, mostly 3. Plus, AK is a little less accurate in my opinion, and there's a lot more that can go wrong with it. So, I mean, in a moment of truth, if I need accuracy at distance and I need something that's going to get the job done, I'm going to choose an AR. If I need something that I can yoink out the mud because I'm going through some shit, sure, I'm going to choose an AK. Either way, both the motherfuckers in that room are going to be dead at the end. It's just going to take a couple extra rounds from the AR to make that happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just from my own experience, I feel like it kind of comes down to who the manufacturer is on both sides of the fence.
Everything.
Like,
it's everything.
Cheap fucking ARs that I've shot, but there's also some really good ones. And
oh yeah,
shit. As far as AKs go, America still needs to get their shit together with the free market with that.
Yeah,
yeah. And I mean, I've seen guys with AKs where they've dropped. They'll be like, "Oh look, you can fuck these things up." Dropped it, and they bent their fucking barrel, and they can't shoot it anymore. Like what? Yeah,
damn you, Century Arms!
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, what good is the AK argument like there if you drop it and your barrel? Like, it all comes down to the quality of the manufacturer, what kind of weapon you have. You can buy a trash. Like people say that because there's more trash ARs out there in the market than there are trash AKs. And because the AKs, let's be honest, it's more expensive to get into an AK than an AR, so to speak. A lot of people, they come into the rifle game and they go, oh, give me the AR. It's adult Legos. It's cheap. I can upgrade it and modify it as I go. This AK, once I buy it, I'm going to drop like $3,000 on it. And it's going to be set for life, though. Like, it's going to have every mod I could ever want, but it's going to cost me an arm and a leg because I can only do this one time.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that I noticed as far as the differences between the two platforms goes. Like what you just said with like, it's like adult Legos with AR. But like with AK, the only thing I could think of comparing it to is it's a lot more like medieval Forge like just with like how you have to like use shit on it. Like,
so what are you saying? Like the attachments aren't plug and play? You have to actually do some work?
Usually, not always. Like a lot of times, like if you're putting on new furniture or something like that, you might have to do like a little bit of sanding or something like that. Unless, it's like polymer or whatever the fuck it is.
Leighton says, in my experience, AR-15s have an easy entry level and you can build it bit by bit for a lower cost. Is that what Josh is getting at, basically?
Yep. Yeah. Bingo. Is that it's just cheaper to to get yourself an AR. You can pick you're go
one
ahead.
Silver lining I want to say, dude, 7.62, knock on wood, is cheap as shit.
It is. That'll Russian ammo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's 7.62 by 3.9, man. $8.99.
So I'm not trying to dogpile because I don't have a preference either way. I don't own either one. But what I would say is your two arguments against the AK platform, Josh, were the rumbling round. I guess that's what I'm going to call it for now, and the cheapness of it. Like it's much more affordable to get an AR. I think those were basically the two. So to both of those, I would say, first of all, for the rumbling round, I know this exists for handguns, so I assume it exists for rifles as well. There's a round you can get. I think it's called a stinger round, something like that. It's basically a hollow point that's got a metal bar that goes through it as well. And the idea is that when you shoot this round, instead of just like going through or popping like a hollow point or something like that, the stinger round has that metal bar and it just grabs on to whatever. And so you could shoot somebody in the rib and it just like goes up and out through their neck or something like that because of that metal bar. So that's the first one, is like, even though the AR might have the rumbling effect or whatever, there's ammunition that you can get that has a similar or even more devastating effect because it's built for that purpose. And then second, the cost for me, like when I look at buying something, the cost isn't necessarily the issue, but it's more like the quality of the product, right? So if I can't throw an AR into the ground or into the mud and pull it out and shoot it again, but I can do it with an AK, that's more valuable to me, even if it costs more money, because my return on investment is much stronger. Now, like this is like I don't know, like it's beyond Mad Max in a scenario where you would need that. So I understand that perspective as well, but it just seems like your money is better spent with the AK. I don't know. What do you say to those rebuttals?
I mean, first off, you should be cleaning your weapon on a regular basis, regardless of the situation. A clean weapon is a happy weapon. Second of all, like I'm not going to sit here and dispute those arguments. Like I said, what I am going to say is that, if you're going to want something that's going to work, regardless of what platform you choose, the quality of the weapon you have is going to be more important than whether it's carrying a 7.62 or a 5.56 NATO round. That's the end all be all of it. And it comes down to a matter of philosophical preference at the end of the day, in my opinion. Do you prefer the 7.62 in and out round with the heavier, stopping power? Or do you prefer something that's going to be a little bit better over distance because you may have to be shooting? Like, I would take an AR hunting. I could use an AR for hunting. I wouldn't necessarily use an AK for hunting. You can. I wouldn't personally. I don't think it's as useful. But if we're talking,
you mentioned that it was inaccurate. Is that an accurate statement that the AK is inaccurate?
I don't want to say it's inaccurate.
Okay, sure.
I think that would be a misnomer. I think it's less accurate than the AR platform, or like the M4. Like if you put a standard issue like Russian AK-47 against a standard issue like American M4, and had the same guy shoot it 3 times, I think the AK is going to give you a little bit more of a spread out pattern when you look at the target there. Your AR is going to give you a little bit more of a tighter pattern, or especially over distance. But to say the AK is inaccurate is, kind of a misrepresentation there.
It's inaccurate. Yeah.
Not as accurate can be, is more honest.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are still talking about AKs and ARs, I just want to say we all know what the real best weapon is: the Mini 14.
Yeah,
I was gonna say a barb dildo, but okay.
Yeah, Bob. I mean, that's a whole nother. That's a good best melee weapon. Plus, it's a legendary weapon because there's only one of its kind that I'm aware of.
You mean the golden gun?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the golden gun. You know what I mean? You get
it's the golden gun of melee weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there, like one of those special weapons.
Hey Josh, or not Josh, I'm sorry. Hey Mitch, do you have your clips ready? You have some sort of like clip list of things that I need to watch. And so while you get that ready, I'm gonna show this classic.
Wait, clips?
You said you have some woke ads or some shit you want me to react to.
What, you want to go through the woke ads?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we got like 15 minutes, but while you're finding those, check this out. This is why I'm kind of like leaning not towards AK and more towards AR, because they got this. Look, Josh stepped away now, which means he's not in front of his phone. And I kind of want to wait because he's going to have a good reaction.
I'm still here, motherfucker.
You can still see though.
Yeah, I can still see.
All right, here we go. It's a classic video. I'm sure you all have seen it before, but this makes me a little skeptical of AKs. Here we go.
Which one is this?
RWAT primate behavior video. Ape with AK-47 footage from African soldiers.
Oh, this is from when they were promoting Planet of the Apes. I remember this.
Now watch this shit, dude. Look, African soldier. He's like, "What's up, dude? Give him the gun." No. What's up? He's got a gun. He's joking around. I don't know what his music is. I don't know what that music is, but he's like, King Kong ain't got shit on me. Great.
That's why you don't give animals firearms, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Nah, that shit is great, man.
Speaking about the AK and AR thing, though, one last thing is,
sure,
you can always recognize an AK every time it's fired. Just that classic sound. I don't know what it is, but it always you hear it.
You know what that sound is? Kalishnikov. Every time.
Kalishnikov. All right, so basically, Tim, to give you a little bit of a rundown here, here's basically where all these clips come from. Lately, I've been getting really cringy, strange, woke ads on Hulu. So it occurred to me one night, why don't I start saving these ads so that I can show you guys on the show and get your reactions.
Hold on. I'm putting it on the big monitor and I'm going full screen.
Here we go. This is gonna be good. All right, cool. So I got 2 of these ads today, and as I find more, every week I'm just gonna bring them on. If we ever have time to kill, we'll just have these waiting in the wings. So first we have an ad from Indeed. This is an ad from Indeed.
The job service?
Yeah, the job service.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Wait, hold up.
Hi, I'm.
Why are I thought. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This is one of those ads.
The text. All right, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Taylor.
Is that his voice?
Hi, I'm here for an interview.
Pause.
Oh yeah, you kind of missed it. Go back like a couple seconds where they were sitting in the chair there. That one. What the fuck, dude?
Spreading. Look at that sexist man spreading over there.
Wait, is that the guy from Umbrella Academy? That's what it looks like. But this fucking trans. What the fuck's up with that suit? It's like 2 sizes too big.
Yeah, it does look really baggy. I didn't really think about that before.
Tips for trans and non-binary people. Tip number 1: get a suit that fucking fits. Next.
I'm Dorian, and I use the pronouns he, him. Are you comfortable sharing how you would like to be addressed?
What?
Thank you for asking. I use they, them pronouns.
Great. Well, I'd love to hear more about your skill set.
No.
Sure.
No. No. Fuck you, okay? Look. All right, man. I just did all of my diversity and my anti-harassment training. And you know what? I was kind of surprised a little bit because the company I work for was actually no, meritocracy is important. As long as you base those things off of whether or not they can do the job, that's what's most important. And I'll tell you what, I am never, ever going to start an interview that starts with, what are your fucking pronouns? If you come in and if you dress like that, I'm going to call that person a woman because it looks like a lady or somebody who's trying to be a lady. So I'm going to be respectful enough to say, ma'am. I'm not going to just go out right and be like, I know you're a dude. I'm not going to be that guy. But if I start that off and I'm like, all right, ma'am, like what can you tell me about yourself? Or all right, miss, what can you tell me about yourself? And this person starts off with my pronouns are blah blah blah. That is automatically going to turn me off to hiring you as an employee, because that tells me that you're a fucking activist and you're not like somebody who's serious about doing the job. You're going to cause me a lot of fucking problems. So tips for trans and non-binary people is just be fucking normal. All right, go ahead. What is this? Which one is this?
Oh, this one's even worse. This is the
Is
other
it?
one
What is
I had.
it? It says PSA protect our families. Like, what is this?
It was a PSA.
What is the?
It was just a PSA that I got on Hulu.
But from
you'll
who?
see.
From Hulu?
No, it wasn't from Hulu. Who's it from? It's from GLAAD. GLAAD.
Oh God damn it!
God,
Okay,
go.
fucking
holy
shit.
shit, dude! I just
The
realized, look at
NRA
that ratio. Holy fuck,
bro! GLAAD is like the NRA of like gay and trans rights. Like no shit, they got ratioed. But, continue.
What the fuck?
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are.
No.
Wait, what?
Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. If you've never met a transgender child before, what I want you to know is that that child is no different than yours. They have the same hopes and dreams and deserve the same equality as your child does. We tell our kids as often as we can that we love them in as many ways as possible. There are some politicians who are trying to tear my family apart simply because my son is transgender. Trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. They just want to be left alone. My family's just like yours. We love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them.
I'm gonna start
Stand with
drinking.
us. Protect our families.
Okay. I don't know if that one was worse or not, because the other one presumed like
that
transphobia.
one wasn't as bad. Looking back.
Okay, so first of all, is the kid like, we all want the best for our kids? Well, Chris, do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Okay,
just you and me here, bud.
Yeah, it's that's the way it always is, dude. It's just me and you. None of these guys are fucking man enough to nut inside a woman and take responsibility for her.
Yeah,
so, we're just
you gotta nut in her, take responsibility, Mitch.
I'm teasing, but
yeah.
Look, I want this like what she said in the beginning. What she said at the beginning. Yeah, I want the best for my kid. I want like what's best, and I just want a whole and healthy child. Absolutely, 100%. Now, how did that kid end up thinking it was a man or thinking it was a boy or whatever? Like my daughter earlier today, my kid watches Roly Poly Oly. Josh was a little surprised at that. Like, oh, you want to go into old school? She loves that fucking show. And there's a hero, like a comic book figure or whatever, in that show, Space Boy. Mm-hmm. So my daughter was running around the house today, putting a bucket on her head, and she was like, "I'm Space Boy, I'm Space Boy," and I was like, "Nah, you could be Space Girl." And she's like, "No, I'm Space Boy," because that's who she remembers from the show. Yeah. But I'm like telling her, like, "No, you're a girl, you're Space Girl, like, you know, whatever." If I would have encouraged, like, the trans activist community, not really a trans community, but the trans activist community might have said that I was misgendering her or not allowing her to be her true self because I was telling her she was a girl and not a boy. My question is, how much of this kid, I don't know how old that kid was. He looked like he was like maybe like 12 years old or something. How much of that kid being trans is encouragement from his parents or her, whatever? It looked like a boy, his parents. So, like, how much of that is encouragement from the parents? Because really, like, I want my kid to be happy and healthy. Yeah. The kid wants affection from me. So whatever stimuli I give the kid to feel affection, they're going to fucking run with.
Well, you said it like transgender people would say that you were being, that you weren't treating your daughter right, but what does that say about empowering women? Think about that for a minute.
Yeah, you could be Space Girl. You could be a girl that goes to space. Why not? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that fucking ad, but I wonder what's going on there. It's bullshit.
Nah, the thing that kind of was like hypocritical to me was this woman sits there and she says, children aren't political. They don't make these choices. And like, she's absolutely 100% right. These kids aren't political. They're not making political decisions here. You're political.
Shut the fuck up, Sharon.
You're making political decisions. Shut up, Sharon. I'm talking here. Stop making Tim interrupt me. But you got a parent here who's making what at the end of the day is political decisions, and you're using your kid as a tool because you want to look like a really great parent and you want to be parent of the year. Because, and I've seen this with parents, like other parents out there, is that, I don't want to assume here, but I see a lot of moms where they're single, either they're single moms or they're stay-at-home moms, and their whole identity becomes around being a mom. Even if they have a job, sometimes even at work, their whole identity is I'm a mom. I'm a working mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom. But the identity is it's a mom, and they can't take themselves out of that idea that, I have to be known as being a good parent, because that crushes those types of people that all they are is a mom and that's their whole life. Is anybody thinks they're a bad mom, whoa, whole world's destroyed. Whole world. You can completely ruin one of those girls in 2 seconds by just insinuating that you might not be a good parent. Super simple. Easy squeezy lemon pleasy. So for someone like her, absolutely. She's been indoctrinated and she's used her kid as a tool to, put herself on a pedestal. Look at how great of a parent I am. I'm so accepting and I'm so loving, and look at all the ways I tell my children every day that I love them in ways that aren't even words. I'm just the best mom ever.
Yeah. And that's what got me thinking about that. It's like how much of this transgender identity is just like confirmation from the parent. Like saying, oh, you do look cute as a boy. Oh, you do, like, yeah, you're wonderful. Yeah, if you feel like a boy today. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that, and I don't know if you guys listened to the recent episode of Michael Malice's show when he had Blair White on. And
no, I haven't watched it yet. No.
It's a fantastic episode because it deals a lot with this topic. And it really feels like kind of the weird left area is trying to conflate like the adult trans rights issue with this whole kids thing, which those are two completely different things. And just trying, as Blair White thinks, and I generally agree with her, this whole trying to conflate both of these things is a losing effort, and you're only making it harder on adults who made those decisions for themselves.
Like, you want to know what helped out the gay, like on the whole, the general gay community, like gay, lesbians, like, you want to know what helped them out and what got them to where they are today in society as far as like acceptances, is they just kept living their lives. They didn't make a big, they didn't go out there and go ranting and raving and streaking and calling people Nazis and bigots. What they did is they just went out and they just kept living their lives. Okay, you don't like us because we're gay? Well, then, all right, fuck you. We're going to keep being gay anyway. We're here, we're queer, and we're proud. And you know what? Just, you're either going to deal with us or you're not. And eventually, over time, they were just, they had a low time preference, the gay community, and they won over society because they're like, all right, well, it went from gay people were demonized and villainized, and over time people were like, oh, gay people are cool. They're not evil. They're not bad people. They're not what the media back then made them out to be. Now you got the media on their side, which worked in their favor in the long run. So yeah, like they won out by just not for lack of better words, not really drawing attention to themselves super much. Like a lot of their like the bigotry that they claim to have that really isn't there too much has come and have such a spotlight shown on it because they're making a big deal out of everything.
Yeah, and like the thing is they also have to pay some homage to the Libertarian Party because the Libertarians were fighting for gay marriage and stuff before Democrats ever thought about it. And the thing about Democrats is they only use that community. They only use it as like a campaign piece. You know what I'm saying? So they have a lot of homage to give to the Libertarian Party, because it's not up for government to decide whether or not what your marriage is like. Like that's a conversation between one person and another person privately.
Exactly. Anyway, we are now officially in the after hours time, so I figure we could go around and do plugs and kind of wrap this up. And
wait, do you have more? Do you have more plugs or clips or no?
No, those are the only two I have right now. I've been trying to find a LinkedIn ad that is really weird. You know, it has like this one: I am a Korean intersex who identifies as they them, and I have a neurotic disorder. Like it's really, I haven't been able to find it on YouTube. I could find an ad that has the girl in it, but it's like clearly a compilation of like 5 ads they made. We're gonna find the really cringy LinkedIn ad at some point.
I believe it.
Ready. Anyway, for plugs, Josh.
Follow me down here on Twitter. You can check me out on Facebook. I'm probably, if you're in Florida, there's going to be a 4th of July parade in Brevard County this coming week. So if you're there, I'll probably see you there. Otherwise, appreciate you guys coming out again this week. Check it out, Swamp Creatures. Mitch, I'll pass it back to you to keep moving around the horn.
All right, keep moving around. All right, Jim, what do you got? Jim?
Hey, Tim, what do you got?
Oh, I'm Jim. I'm sorry.
Anyways, go check out my Twitter at MitchConnorJLo, and go check out 1776 Swag, where we got tons of new stuff, new merch in there, as well as some band stuff like the Mises Reese's shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yummy. Mises Reese's.
Hell yeah. Yummy Mises Reese's. The
but
thing
seriously,
that's banned from everywhere else. Also, come and take it, AK.
Let me take a minute to, as a customer, leave a live review for Mitch's website. I've shopped off of there in the past. Everything I've gotten off of there, great quality. It's gone through multiple washes. It's still the same way I've gotten it when it came in. The prices were super reasonable for what t-shirts are nowadays, So 1776swag.com, hit him up, help my man Mitch out. He deserves the help.
Yeah,
and you deserve to be in his gear. More importantly,
there you go. That's how you sell something.
L's to the yeah. Anyway, just go check me out on Twitter at MitchConnorJLo, and as Tim just showed off there, go check out 17. And as Josh just helped me out there, go check out 1776 Swag. Chris,
help my boy up.
Chris, you got plugs?
You can catch us on Twitter and Facebook as the name exactly you see right here, the bottom corner. Just Libertarian 2A Society. It's that easy.
Good shit. We'll see.
And
you
when
guys.
he says us, it means just him. So give him some support and help him out.
Very well.
Got to start somewhere.
Right.
Anyway, tune in next week. We'll be having our good buddy Top Lobster coming back. All right.
I'm ready for it, dude. It's gonna be a fight.
I'm so ready.
Oh man, I look forward to it. It's gonna be a fucking fight. We're gonna have like sound effects and everything. Get Rob on the show. We need that shit. Anyway, peace.